The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Acuma, its board of directors, its management staff, or its members. The podcast discussion presented is conversational in nature and for general information only.
Hello and welcome to Acuma's On Point Podcast, a series focused on sharing the stories of people who are making a positive impact in the credit union mortgage industry. I'm your host, Peter Benjamin. A few weeks ago, I was able to sit down with Daryl Stinson, transformational speaker and CEO of Stinson World Enterprises. At that time, FHA Director Sandra Thompson was scheduled to speak at this year's annual conference. Unfortunately, prior to this recording being released, we found out she was not able to make it to our conference. Now, we're thankful that Deputy Director Stallings was able to step in, but, we're sure going to miss Director Thompson's vital words of wisdom. Anyways, we sure enjoyed this episode, and we hope you enjoy it as well. But before we get to it, a quick word from this episode's sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by Optimal Blue. Optimal Blue effectively bridges primary and secondary mortgage markets to deliver the industry's only end-to-end capital markets platform. The company helps credit unions of all sizes deliver premier experiences to members pursuing the dream of homeownership. Through innovative technology, a network of interconnectivity, rich data insights, and experience gathered over more than 20 years, Optimal Blue is an experienced partner that, in any market, allows credit unions to optimize their advantage from pricing accuracy to margin protection and every step in between. To learn more, visit optimalblue.com.
Daryl, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited for this conversation.
I couldn't be more excited to talk to you. And, for a lot of reasons, of course, as I always tease that to our audience, why I'm excited. And I promise I'll get to that. If anyone who has looked at our agenda for our annual conference knows who you are, and I kind of just teased it a little bit, but I'm going to come back to it, I promise. But before we get to it, got to bring Justin in. Hawk, what's going on? How you doing? But tell us what's the latest and greatest happening over at Acuma.
I'm good, Peter. How are you?
Man, drinking on a fire hose, but living the dream.
Hopefully it's just bourbon. No.
Wouldn't that be awesome if there was a fire hose that just shot bourbon out? And that's what just walked up and it was just like bourbon.
That'd be something.
That would be something.
So we
need that right. I'm sorry. We need that right now.
Right now we
need that right now.
We are up to our eyeballs in annual. We are 11 days away from the biggest credit union mortgage industry event of the year. I am so excited to see it all come to life. I'm so excited for our members to come out and join us and get to take in all that educational content that we have planned for them. They get to see speakers like Daryl. Tease it again for you. See?
Yeah, there you
go. If you haven't registered, the only question the Acuma team keeps asking ourselves is, what are you waiting
for? And where are you staying?
Yeah, that too, because hotel cutoff just passed. But that doesn't mean that you still can't come out and enjoy the content and enjoy the sessions and stay at one of the other fabulous hotels that are in the beautiful Vegas. But so if you haven't registered, head over to the website, get registered. There's still plenty of time. After that, we have inside tracks, fast track webinars. Those are happening year round. So if you're looking for other additional educational content, we have something for you all throughout the year. And
you
then
you forgot to mention one thing.
The Yippins.
Well, you mean that, but also another thing.
It's okay. What did I forget?
The second largest annual conference we've ever put on.
Oh yeah, there you go. See, Peter, I was confused for a second. Okay,
sorry, so, I kind of sandbagged you.
You did. It's okay. You should have sent me a note. No, and then I figured he was gonna go with Yippins because that's his new favorite word.
We're
gonna add Yippins and Riz to the same dictionary one day.
100%. So that way Acuma dictionary.
We just need the T-shirt for Yippin.
Telling you, every year I buy the team T-shirts. Every year, Daryl. Every year for our annual conference, I buy the team T-shirts for our annual conference. Next year, it's going to be
the Yippin t-shirt.
Okay.
And it stands for young. It's obviously it's a young professional network, but it's gonna be it's gonna be something good. It's gonna be like I'm too old, or I'm part of the Yippin, or something like that. It's gonna be perfect. Anyways, Justin, continue.
I'm still just gonna stick with that. I did like Yippies better than Yippins, but it's okay. The next quarterly meeting is today, so if it's not on your calendar, put it on your calendar. Be sure to join Cameron and the YPN team. They have a great session planned for you. It's continuation from last quarter on mentorship, and there was plenty of engagement, plenty of discussion last quarter, and so I'm certain that it's going to be a good send off right before we come to annual.
Okay, awesome. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all.
Right, awesome. Giddy up.
Looking forward to this conversation.
Absolutely. Well, Daryl, again, super excited for this. Again, this conversation is really just, in many ways, a little teaser for what our members, our attendees can, in many ways, expect at annual. Kind of sort of learn who you are, a little bit more about Daryl, the insights of kind of what you bring to the table, and I think that's a big component, right? You're our kickoff speaker. Our the speaker who's going to kick off our show. Now, for background, I'm going to kind of give two backgrounds. I have a lot of lead into this, the multiple questions I'm going to ask you before we dive into our conversation today. So, the session that you're speaking on, or your session, is Hold the Rope: Establishing a New Level of Ownership in a Growing Movement. Now, for a long time, we've been talking. I feel like it's been at this point in time a year and a half, right? And I appreciate your willingness to kind of partner with us and develop this session and kind of grow it. And I feel, and I kind of take our listeners back about a year and a half and take them through the journey of what it means to be on our side of this coin, and share with them our vision for how we take, our search for a speaker seriously, or so seriously. And what we do is that we sit down and we comb through a pile of emails and videos, and we try to find the right speaker that means something to us, and that we feel as though will resonate with our members. And yours did. Your message did, right? Because for us, we recognize that our members and who we are as people is just as important as it is for our members to leave better people as it is for them to be better mortgage professionals. And so that's why we brought you in. And that's why we're here today talking. So part of the Acma On Point podcast, like I mentioned in my intros, and it's something I always do, is learning a little bit more about who you are. It's the stories that make a positive impact. And so because you're going to make a positive impact in our members' lives in, just a handful of days at this point in time, my first leading question is, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Daryl? Who is Daryl Stinson? First and foremost, let's kick it off with that question, because I think that is important, because you're going to make a positive impact in our members' lives shortly. So who are you?
Yeah, man, that's one of the most profound questions I think a person can ask and answer. I think it was, I don't know, somebody deep, profound, and wise that said the two greatest days in people's lives: the day that they were born and the day that they figure out why. And so, my story is, I'm a husband, I'm a father. We live in Franklin, Tennessee right now, back and forth to Atlanta a lot. And we help people to grow their business with speaking, and leadership is kind of the other tagline I put on there, because when you are a speaker or communicating in any degree, whether that be leading a meeting, whether that be casting vision, whether that be developing a team, whether that be even talking to your children, I believe the most powerful form of communication is that which is congruent with one's life, meaning that we're teaching things that we're practicing in our lives, not just something that we read and feel is best practice, but we're not actually practicing it. And so, for me, and being a part of this process, I think that was part of the examination. It's like, okay, a lot of people can market well or have a good sizzle reel, but is there substance to their life? Have they overcome? Have they used these strategies in their life to, achieve something significant or remarkable? And can they communicate that in a way that's simple and easy for, our community to understand? And so that was my experience of the vetting process. Lots of questions there. Send us this video, like, cool. We're glad that you can talk about this, but really what we want to see is this. And it was just like, oh, I like this. I don't feel like I'm being scrutinized. I feel like they're taking, who they're selecting really, really, really serious. And then there was also this undertone in the selection process. We want to make sure that whoever we select gives our audience like just that one thing that they could remember. And that out of like, my four most popular keynotes, Hold the Rope, stood out like a brining, shining bright star, because we talked about the, how memorable something tangible like a rope is to people. And, I don't want to spoil all the goods that we'll do in the conference, but I will say this. When we talk about ownership in the middle of things that are growing or even things that are stagnant, ownership is important. There is a way to lead. There is a way to build a culture where the employees work just as hard as the visionary. And we know that through leadership by saying things like intrinsic motivation, but it's not always what's in the fabric of our culture to the highest degree. There's always an edge. There's always room for improvement. And so my intention and kind of what we discussed is like, how can we get people to walk away with greater level of accountability, holding that rope for their team, for their family, for their communities, and ultimately themselves. And that's what I've been able to do in my life, going from a guy that was high level in sports, successful, played Division I sports at Central Michigan University, won awards in higher education for communication and marketing, best-selling books, TEDx talks, but also was a suicide survivor. And that's important because sometimes you can be so externally successful that you hide your own internal failure and turmoil. And so part of how I communicate, part of what I feel like, makes me different. I don't know if I'm the most impressive speaker, but I feel like I'm one of the most connected because I can see beyond the suit, the tie, the smile, the I'm fine. And so like, oh, this person actually carries a lot more weight on their shoulders than what they, regularly have space to think about.
And I think that was one of the reasons why we connected with you so much. When we saw, it's called Be Real, right? Or something like that. What's it called? Something like that. Whatever it's called. when we saw your tapes and we saw your messaging, right? It wasn't about suits, right? And we've all seen a lot of these reels, right? And we get the YouTube tapes and we get all these clips and they're all in these buttoned up suits, right? And they're all up there and they're delivering their keynotes to a group of pharmacists, and it's like it's stiff and rigid, right? Anyone can give a speech on leadership, right? Anyone can give a speech on culture, right? Let's talk about living a good life, right? Let's have that conversation. And we felt as though in the moments that we saw you kind of gave your remarks, and the clips that we saw, you kind of gave those comments, and that's why we want to have you here. As part of our conference. I think that's important, right? It's how do you live that good life, and how do you live your life to the fullest, and in many ways own your life, right? I think that's key. So kind of moving on. I appreciate you sharing that. So I think part of this is the experience that our members and our attendees will receive, right? So you travel around the world and you travel around the country speaking to different groups, right? And one thing that I notice it, and I do the same, right? I go to a lot of events, and I think you and I can probably have a great conversation about this, right? And I think that's why we kind of sort of agreed to today's conversation was it fits in really nicely as to why Acuma does what we do. And if you peel back the layers, we start our events off with a speaker like you, and we end with a speaker like you. They're our bookend keynote because it's a reminder going into the conference, you're here as a person. You walk in as a human being, and then you also leave as that person, right? And both of those messages are always the same, very similar, and they're complementary. And so I think you and I can have a great conversation about this. So as you go to the different events that you go to, in your opinion, how can people really experience the event, really view these events from fresh eyes, and kind of take the things that they learn and implement them, not just at the event, but in their daily lives? That's probably the best question we can approach this.
Yeah,
it's not just the technical knowledge, I guess. It's a way of living, or however we want to frame it up, I guess.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal conversation, especially when we have an opportunity to soak up like this moment with, and early on in my career, it was so hard for me to even like justify prices in this industry because I just felt like I was a pastor. I wanted to give away everything. And someone told me, a mentor of mine, Les Brown, you might know him. He said, man, if you don't charge, number one, you won't have a ministry. And then he said, they're not paying you for the 60 minutes. They're paying you for the 10, 15, 20 years, the 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 hours you spent immersed in this particular subject matter and expertise. And so that is primarily the case with anybody. And that's just not a fancy speaker on stage. That's, everyone in their life's experience, everyone is a master and an expert at their own journey. And so, when you're listening to an opening keynote speaker, you're not just listening to 60 minutes of information or 45 minutes of information. You're listening to a life practice of thousands of hours of research, maybe even generations of information. And so knowing that there's that much wisdom available, sometimes it depends on what we as an audience is willing to pull out of the speaker. Okay. And I say that for this reason, okay? Because I've been to some conferences where as much as people had great bios, or as much as they had great demo reels, they just weren't great speakers. And I didn't want to spend an hour, 90 minutes of my life not having something tangible to walk away with. And so I couldn't change their presentation. I couldn't change their content, but I could change my willingness to lean into what they were saying. I could change my teachability and raise my hand and ask a question to try to draw something out of them that maybe they didn't even think to say because they lost their train of thought. And when I started to do that, I started to get more from the conference. So that way of being is something that I would bring up. And I'll pause before I get into another, tip or two.
No, I mean, keep going. I mean, I like the direction that you're heading, because I think you're on the right path, and I don't want you to veer away from this path that you're heading.
Cool. So here's another layer of it. Here's a principle and a question of self-reflection. The principle is this, and this is in any level of achievement, that minor tweaks make major differences. Okay. Minor tweaks make major differences. So as an attendee, as a conference, as a student in the game of life, one of the things I learned from being a high level athlete is that once I got to, college, for example, and I was already ranked top 100 in the US and I'm, better than most, it's like they weren't teaching me. I wasn't learning pages and pages of notes about how to play the game of football. Early on, Little League is like, I don't even know what the X's mean or the O's mean. Just like, I got to learn pages. I remember the beginning of the season, I was trying to learn the playbook. It was this long. But once I learned that, it was just the mastery of it became me focusing on minor tweaks in my game, in my stance, in my psychology, in my execution, minor tweaks that made major difference. I mean, if you watch the Olympics, you saw the difference between first and second place was fractions of a second. So that minor tweak is important in our own implementation of what we're consuming. So that's the principle. Minor tweaks make major differences. The question for reflection is, as I'm consuming, where in this body of information is there minor tweaks in my life that may result in major differences over time and distance?
Right. Okay. So ultimately, it's every attendee should. It's the tough part is. And I'm gonna take a step back. The tough part is it's like we have, and I obviously we don't record these visually, right? This is all audio, right? And for the sake of our listeners, right? I'm holding up my cell phone, right? The problem is there's these constant distractions, right? I have my cell phone in my hand, right?
Yeah.
And while you are on stage or another keynote speaker like Director Thompson with the FHFA, she's on stage, right? She says something and I'm going to say, ooh, let me look this up, right? Or you're on stage and I get a text message or an email and I'm constantly distracted. The problem is we have these 1,001 distractions around us at any given time, right? You could say something that is completely, I don't want to say vital or essential or important, but something that could be very impactful to my life or meaningful to my life that could change it for the better, or who knows, or even when I think about her, Director Sandra Thompson, that from a professional standpoint, that could impact my career. Just distracted. I'm constantly distracted. So in your opinion, how do we stay focused on those things? How do we stay engaged?
Yeah. Anchors, reminders. Okay. Man, I'll tell you a story about that's a little personal. There was a time, early in my career, I was in working for United Way, and I was doing donor development, and I was really insecure asking people for large donations because I was raised broke and poor. So it just didn't make sense of why people would write checks for $10,000 and $100,000 plus. And yet that was the role that I was in. And so I was constantly just insecure. I was doing a terrible job, maybe not a terrible job, but I wasn't doing an excellent job. And I'm in therapy, kind of whining it out, talking about it. And in this therapy session, my therapist said to me, Daryl, you have a people please. And she said, you forget how smart, how intellectual, how this you are. And so I want you to take some little reminders about who you are. You're confident. You had an award winning. You won 2 awards in higher education. You were a top athlete. You this, like anything that you can grab to remind yourself of who you are. And I want you to write them on sticky notes and place them everywhere you can, on your computer, on your door, in your car, on the windshield, in your desk, at work, everywhere where you turn and can look at it, so that it is a constant reminder to you of who you are, and you're not in the shrinking and the insecurity of self. That same principle can apply with people from implementation of information into their life after conferences or any environment where they're consuming information, whether that's a podcast or YouTube. If they make a list of actions or make a list of reminders, if they put these things on sticky notes, if they put them on their laptop, if they put them on their computer screen, if they put them in the inside of their dashboard, it's going to constantly remind them in little ways. And I hope one of those things, it might not be. Everybody walks away with something. But one of those something, I pray, is that hold the rope is going to be there, and that we're going to create an experience together where that's significantly meaningful to us for what that represents.
So that was my next question, just for the sake of time, right?
Yep.
We can keep talking about this conversation, but for the sake of time, we have to start transitioning, right? So I always have, 2 more questions, right?
Yeah.
But we'll always have a final question. But the last question before we get to the final question, hold the rope, obviously. Hold the rope, establishing a new level of ownership in a growing movement.
Yeah.
In the name of the session. We've hinted at it a bit, but if you could tease that session a bit more, again, trying to get people hyped up for the session. Here we are, again, a handful of days out. For those people who are on the fence saying, I'm not sure if I want to attend. And if this is our opportunity to kind of push them over, not physically push them over, that'd be bad. But push them into our conference. Give us a little tease for what that session is going to talk about.
Well, number one, I believe in following gut instincts. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, and through our dialogue, our exchange of ideas, the things that we've talked about, something in you is like, ooh, I like these people. Ooh, I like that resonated. I'd follow that gut instinct and make sure that you register. Or if you're already registered, that you bring someone who also qualifies to register to the conference. Okay. Because that is how we co-create a better experience. So really excited about that. Follow that gut instinct. And then in terms of my keynote and contribution, hold the rope, man, think about the things that you care about personally in your life, your work, your family, maybe the environment. Think maybe about a cause that you stand for or stand against, like abuse, like greed. And imagine that your contribution to make a difference in that area is connected to the analogy of holding a rope. And when we're in a tug of war with life, sometimes all we can focus on is how hard we pull. That is the place where our ownership, I think it's the old serenity prayer. Grant me the wisdom and the courage. But is it grant me the wisdom to accept the things I cannot change and the wisdom to know the difference of what's the quote? Do anybody know the serenity quote? Come on. Krista might know. She's in the background. She's the smartest of us.
I do
but
know
the point
it.
Is,
I do
like
know
that.
it. And my Catholic grandmother's frowning upon me right now.
Which I can control. And there's a lot going on in our economy that we can't control. There's a lot going on in our politics that we can influence, but we can't control. There's a lot going on with my children that I can influence, but I cannot control. There's a lot going on as leaders that we can influence, but we cannot control. What we can control is our ownership over holding our rope and making our own contribution. And at this conference, I'm going to take you deeper into self, deeper into service, and deeper into story to help you go into greater levels of ownership in your life. And I believe that will help you have more peace at night, will help you to have more confidence in yourself, and will ultimately achieve more life goals and fulfillment, all the things that I've been able to experience by applying these to my life.
I dig it. I love it. I love it. This is why. See, this is exactly why we picked you as our keynote speaker to kick off our event. So again, if you just love that message and you're on that fence, I know that message that Daryl just shared with you, shared with us. I know that just pushed you over, not physically, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, all right. So last question before we have to transition to our second segment.
Yes, sir.
Again, this is about the human factor, the people piece. What motivates us, what keeps us going. So that question, and I feel like I haven't asked this in a while because we've been focused on other things within our industry, and we've had different mini series. But I'm gonna kind of go back to it. What keeps you going? What keeps driving you forward? You're human like the rest of us. One foot out of bed every single morning. What's that one thing that just keeps you going every single day?
Yeah, there's two things. One is that I'm a suicide survivor. I'm living a life that I tried. I had so much pain, so much insecurity, so much rejection, so much that I couldn't see my purpose, a reason worth living beyond my pain. And so what motivates me is knowing that now I survived long enough to see the fruition of my own existence, to see the beauty of my family, my children, my impact, my message, my gifts, my impact in the world. So that, and the second thing that fuels me is every single person that sees something in me or saw something in me that I could not see in myself. Sometimes you have to borrow somebody else's belief in you before you can believe self. And I think everybody listening to this podcast has somebody in their life that has said a kind remark, that has thought highly of them, that has saw something in them that maybe they haven't seen in themselves. And I think we owe it to the light that people see in us to cultivate that and share that gift with the world. That is what motivates. So I want to live up to what they.
Awesome. Appreciate you sharing that. All right. Well, Daryl, now it's time to transition to our second segment. Now, this is where we sometimes do trivia. Sometimes we do the crowd, the most highly requested crowd favorite dad jokes. But today we're doing Jeopardy.
Okay.
Now, again, here we are, middle of September, college football just recently somewhat kicked off recently. Obviously you played college ball. Justin loves his volunteers. I hate the color of orange because of him.
I think that's most non-Tennessee fans. They hate the color orange.
It's just color of orange just bothersome. But anyways, so because of that, we are going to play college football Jeopardy. Now, bear with me while I bring my Jeopardy board into the screen. And I guess I know everyone cannot see my screen. So as always, I am going to describe my screen as I bring it into the view. Now, Daryl and Justin, in front of you is the standard a standard Jeopardy screen. And again, I'm describing it for everyone. In front of me is the standard Jeopardy board, ranging from points of 100 to 500. There are 5 categories. The categories are college football team, Heisman Trophy winners, college football history, college football records, and college football trophies. Again,
geez.
Points ranging from 100 to 500.
Oh, geez. Okay, let's go Heisman Trophy winners for 100.
Well, hold on one second. Daryl, for the sake of this, you are team 1. You are Justin, you are team 2. Now, Daryl, we do not require a who is, what is, etc. Just throw it out.
Okay.
Again, you can steal. I am a vicious scorer, by the way. If you try to steal, you lose points if you're wrong.
Oh, geez.
So just so you know, I'm not fair when it comes to that. And I did not create this. So if the questions are bad, it's not my fault. So you said college football history for what?
No, not college football. The Heisman Trophy winners for 100.
Heisman Trophy winners for 100. All right. Daryl, your question is, Tim Tebow played for this team when he won the Heisman Trophy in 2007.
So smart. Florida Gators.
Florida Gators. The correct answer is, who are the Florida Gators? Congratulations, Daryl. That is correct. All right, Justin, you are up.
I'm very disappointed. That's how easy that question was.
It was that actually
was a 100-point question.
Was a 100-point question.
I'm going to go with college football teams for 200.
College football teams for 200. This team won the first ever college football playoff national championship in 2015.
Oh, Alabama.
Who Who is? What is?
Who? What?
Who? Who? What? Who? What?
I mean, they are people.
Where is? What is? What is Alabama? Who are the Ohio State Buckeyes?
The Hawaii.
Womp womp.
The Hawaii.
The Ohio State Buckeyes. Sorry, Justin, you just lost points.
You didn't give Daryl a chance to take that. He knew that.
Sorry.
I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
But I would have liked the opportunity. It's cool. Peter,
Sorry, my bad. I knew it was wrong, so I just wanted to take points from.
Good, a little in-house referee. I get what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why Justin doesn't.
All right, Daryl, you're up.
Oh, let's go Heisman Trophy for 500.
Heisman. Ooh.
Oh.
And fair warning, Daryl, you're stuck on it. You're stuck on it. But sometimes some of these games, the 500s are legit hard.
Okay.
All right, so we'll see about this.
We're about to
But at the same
find
time, some of these games, the 500s, are we question why they're 500.
Why they're 5. I agree.
Okay, so we're going to go with this. All right, so Heisman Trophy winners for 500. These 3 college football teams have won the most Heisman trophies as of 2023.
Oh, okay. Dang. That was going to be individuals. I'm going to go with Auburn. USC have the most Heisman Trophy. Maybe Ohio State?
Can I just I want to steal because I'm crazy.
All right, so you say Ohio State, Auburn, and USC. Okay, Justin, you're going to try to steal.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Ohio State, USC, and Alabama.
I was thinking Alabama, but I didn't.
I just feel like the last few years have been way too favorable for them.
They weren't early in history dominant like that, though.
All right, Roll Tide.
No, not Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right, so the correct answer is
Come on.
Notre Dame.
Oh,
Ohio, I got one.
The Ohio State Buckeyes and Boomer Sooner. All right.
So I get one, right?
Nope. Sorry, gentlemen. You both lose points.
nah, I got it right.
No, you didn't.
Oh, come on.
All right, that's okay. I'm still in this.
All right. Go Hawk.
We're gonna go college football teams for 300.
College football teams, 300.
Dear money don't make money.
This team won the last ever BCS national championship in the 2013-2014 season, beating the Auburn Tigers in the final game.
It's like there's like 5 teams. Like it's every question so far has involved 5 teams. By the way, that's it. Who won that game?
That's what I'm asking you, man. Who won that game?
I know it can't because they wouldn't.
Ready to steal.
Clemson.
Daryl, you gonna steal?
Is that the year Clemson won?
No, I'm just kidding. I can't say that. No, Florida State.
Florida State and Clemson.
Oh, that's okay.
All right. The correct answer is Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Justin. Congratulations, Daryl.
The only reason why I know that is because that was like the first year where I actually started coming around football again, because I could stomach it and I wasn't like triggered. So I remember that pretty well.
All right. Sorry, Justin.
It's okay.
Sorry, Justin. All right. Let's do one more round. Daryl?
I think I want to go the safe route and I just want to win. I choose $100 question.
Good call.
Unless they do double Jeopardy or something crazy. Let's go.
This one does not do double Jeopardy.
Oh, cool. The college football teams for 500.
College football teams, 500. This college football team holds the record for the most consecutive bowl appearances with 27 straight.
Oh my gosh. I have no idea who that is. Let's see. This football team holds the most consecutive record for the most. No, I don't know. I feel like every time the answers. I'm just gonna go with Oklahoma.
And I would like to steal.
Do you know the answer?
I think it's Notre Dame.
Oh, definitely not Notre Dame. Definitely not Notre Dame.
Notre Dame has their own bowl. They're the only team in the independent conference.
All right, Notre Dame and Oklahoma. The correct answer is
Georgia.
Virginia Tech Hokies.
Really? Really?
I would have never guessed the Hokies. Never.
This is where we found out that Virginia Tech made the game.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true. Fact check that one.
I never would have guessed that.
Me neither.
I definitely. I would have gone. I would have gone to some sort of SEC.
That Oklahoma.
I would agree. I would agree with Oklahoma.
Or
they're just now in the SEC.
I'll to say USC.
No, I would. But Oklahoma's been good for a while. I would have said Alabama.
Yeah.
Like even Florida.
I said Georgia was my second guess. UGA.
But Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I don't know Tech. That's sad that they would have all those bowl appearances, but my guess is they're probably not even top 10 for.
All right, well, Justin.
I mean, it really doesn't matter.
I know, but we can still that.
And that question's wrong.
Just go big. Just do the hardest one for 500.
The question was wrong, by the way.
How's it wrong?
It says Florida State with 36 consecutive bowl appearances.
Well, I didn't make this. This was as of.
I know. I'm just saying.
This is as of 202019.
Just saying.
This was made in 2019.
But you didn't say Florida State either, though.
Yeah, seriously, you didn't say it either. So you were also wrong.
I'm just saying.
Still wrong.
There you
We
go.
should
So you're
throw
still
out
wrong.
the question. No,
So, I mean, he would still be in the win.
that
Still in the
doesn't
lead.
matter. Like, okay,
Seriously.
Peter.
He would
All right,
still be
I'm
winning.
Peter,
We know.
I don't think he's holding the rope right now.
No, seriously, man.
I don't think
College
he's holding the
football
rope right now.
trophies for 500.
College football trophies.
I'm getting back in this one.
Let's go.
Wait,
There it is.
hold on a second. Do you know the different types of college football trophies that are out there?
Nope.
Why are you going with this category?
Well, because I've gotten the last two in college football teams wrong. I got the one in Heisman trophies wrong. I'm not good with history. I'm not good with records, and I'm not gonna know the trophies. But why not?
Why not?
Hey.
I'll give you a hint. In one of my books, my first book, one of the trophies winners that it's named off of, is one of these trophies. So I wonder if it's going to be the 500 question. That would be ironic.
Well, the Butkus Award. This award is given to the best interior offensive lineman in college football every year.
Come on, Justin. Come on.
I have no idea. I couldn't even begin to throw out a name. I don't even want to do anybody the disservice of getting this wrong. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. Outland.
Was this in?
Outland
Is
trophy.
this the one in your book?
No. One of my book is Warfel. Danny Warfel. Yeah. Florida Gator.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. What's the answer?
Outland.
Correct answer is, what is the Outland Trophy?
Nowhere close to what I would have ever guessed.
Sorry, Justin.
It's okay.
Did that bring me out of the negative?
You're still in the negative. You're still in the negative.
Still?
Sorry. Still in the negative.
By the way, this is my second highest losing score.
Second highest losing score.
Almost.
All right. So, sorry. That wraps up. That wraps up this episode's Acma's On Point Jeopardy with the final score of Daryl Stinson -100. We almost had you there, Daryl. Almost had you into the positive. And Justin the Hawkins with -2,000. Sorry, Justin. The funny thing is, like,
I mean, I lost to a D1 college football player at College Football Jeopardy.
It's okay. When I told Justin,
What I would have expected.
When I told Justin we were playing College Football Jeopardy pre-call, he was so excited.
Yeah, but I also said I hope it's all about the right conference.
If there's anybody to compete against, this me, because I was an arrogant, like, I didn't study teams, I didn't watch anybody. I'm not saying it was a good thing, but it would have worked in your favor. But
I'm
today
just a
did.
fan.
So you
That's
were
all.
sorry.
That's okay.
Round 2 at the conference live.
There you go. Live.
Man,
We're gonna
have
pull
drum battles.
That's right. We're gonna pull.
Be like credit union history, credit
right.
union law.
That's right.
Here it is.
We're gonna pull Justin up on stage. I'm gonna keep the board up. I'm not gonna
Little
touch
payback.
it. I'm not gonna touch the rest of the board. We're gonna finish the board. All right. Well, Daryl, thank you very much for your time today. Really do appreciate it. Looking forward to your session at our annual conference. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, likewise, and thank you. Y'all been great. Came out with the win in the end. Thanks, Justin.
Anytime.
Thank you. It was fun. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Justin, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Of course. It was my pleasure.
All right. And to close out, thank you again to Optimal Blue for sponsoring today's episode. And to all of you, we know your time is valuable. Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Acma's On Point podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, be well, my friends.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time at the Acuma On Point podcast. If not already, be sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. For more great episodes and information, be sure to visit us online at acuma.org, and to get the latest updates, head over to our LinkedIn page.